We doing okay, Mr. Mighty Taco? That's a great shirt.
Thank you. It's a restaurant. It's a real place in Buffalo, New York.
Welcome.
19 of them.
Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast. Super Show for Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. Raw was in Buffalo last night, Monday Night Raw.
Oh, shit.
That's Ian Mighty Taco Ferguson.
That's me.
That should be your new, if you're playing multiplayer, Mighty Taco. And I'm Pat Contry. On the show, we'll be talking about lots of fun stuff. What a great time to be alive this week with
Amazing.
all the stuff happening. God.
Non-stop thrills and spills.
Fantastic Four trail, we'll get into that. Acclaim might be returning. Breakout Beyond, GameStop to exit Canada and France. Not due to tariffs, by the way, but for other reasons. I'm talking about Elon Musk's Quake gaming claims that hopefully Ian went through that a little bit.
A little bit.
Xbox and Microsoft tomfoolery, and Pat's pricing game Odyssey. We doing okay, Ian?
Pat's game pricing Odyssey.
Pat's game pricing Odyssey. That's a little cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been good. What have I been doing?
What have you been doing?
Playing a lot of Othello. Too much Othello.
On what format? On your
like 3 or 4 formats.
Well, I mean, like digitally, or are you like getting it out in front of you and playing with someone?
I've played with Lincoln physically. I have a physical board.
I found my mini one that I had as a kid, by the way, in the garage.
One of the magnetic ones?
It's not magnetic, but like it slides on so it doesn't move. There's like little things so it doesn't move.
Interesting.
It's really like that big, yeah.
I got to the point where I could beat the highest level of the computer on my Radio Shack handheld.
Like an old school one?
Yeah, which is level 3. I mean, the AI is good, but it's not as good as AI is now. I'm up to level 4 AI on Piccolo, which is an iPhone Othello app.
Piccolo?
Okay. It's free. It's perfect. It's wonderful. It's a great app. And then I am playing on eothello.com, which is where a lot of tournament players play there.
Okay. I got to get more back into I had a good run of
chess.
My chess app.
Yeah.
I got up to what's below expert, advanced, almost expert. I was like in between advanced and expert because I was playing every day and drilling. And I think on right below expert, like intermediate advanced or something, I was winning 40 to 45% of the time, which is probably a pretty good ratio for that high up without like training. So yeah, the more you play something, the more you drill into situations and patterns. The same with chess, and yeah.
Well, that's actually one of the things I've been doing. Is in Japan, I got a little
Japan.
So I have a travel Othello board. Sounds kind of similar to the one you have, but I also have a small one that has no pieces. It's every dot, so it's all green. But then
like flips over.
There's little nubs, and you push them, and it flips either white or black. And
like a pop-o-matic thing for each one?
They click into place, and it's satisfying, but it's not exactly pop-o-matic.
It's like click and unclick.
You push one side, and it flips. You push it again, and it rotates. So basically, they're triangles. They rotate 3 flat sides, and it rotates between blank, white piece, and black piece. So I've been taking that, and I've been setting up like the end game puzzles and fucking around with them as I sit down and watch TV to try and get better at it. It's a tough game.
I know it's not the exact one, but the Spot game on NES, I don't think...
It's not the same. But
it's not, but it
has similarities.
It's a cousin of it.
Yes.
But I don't think I think I beat the computer once, maybe on easy. Like the AI was just impossible in that. Like it never made. You always say like it's hard to fuck up an Othello AI. Like it's hard to do it. It's not chess where you have an infinite number of moves.
The issue with Othello is it's easy. Yeah, it's easier for the computer to find the exact move. Othello is weakly solved as a draw. But once you start solving games like Othello, and if chess ever gets solved, even if it does, it doesn't fucking matter. Sure. No human can remember the entire tree of moves. And weakly solved means it's just known that that's what the end would be, but they don't have a database where you can like...
hey, what's this scenario with all the dots
They
lined
don't
up,
have like a victory for
chess
every
doesn't
state.
Either.
Right.
You can't go, hey, what's this board formation and what's all the next 45 moves to get there? It doesn't exist. There's too many variables with chess. You can't get there. That's why if that was a case, there'd be only one good opening in defense to use, and there's a huge variety of opening defenses in chess that work based upon situations. Like you can do whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, Othello's fun. It's just I like it because it's quick. I like trying to visualize the board in advance. It's not quite chess, but it's it's mentally stimulating enough for me.
Before we get into Fantastic Four, a good day for video game history preservation. The Video Game History Foundation Library is now in early access.
This thing is so cool.
For free for everyone, wherever you are. It was end of January, so we just missed it on the last podcast, so woe on us for missing it. So digital archive of history research is available at library.gamehistory.org. So that's one of the reasons why they want to scan and catalog the stuff so people can access it without having to fly out to California to look at it. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, real quick, what it includes so far is over 1,500 full-text searchable out-of-print video game magazines, game development materials, press kits, artwork. It's kind of collection-focused right now, so they have a collection from Mark Flitman. Basically, they invited him to go digitize mountains of paperwork, kept based on game development in the 90s and 2000s at companies like Konami, Acclaim, Midway, Mindscape, and they're adding more stuff. And anyone can use this. I've poked around a little bit. It's a lot of fun, and it's only going to get bigger.
They have 100 hours of footage from Myst and the sequel to Myst, Riven, that are going to be used in an upcoming Myst documentary. That's kind of interesting. I didn't see that before.
Apparently, I think it says in that article, Cyan's been really, really great with working.
So just like them. The outtakes of people acting in Myst.
I mean, possibly.
100 hours. That has to be. That's everything. That's all the cuts. That it's someone scratching their nose, burping in when they shouldn't be. That's fun. Hundreds of magazine scans provided by groups like RetroMags. I've used RetroMags for a long time. They've always had hey, if I want to look up like an old Nintendo Fun Club or Nintendo Power issue without going through my own, and hey, just get the PDF and you look through it. It's fucking great. Do stuff like that. That's why it's useful, because not everyone's crazy like me and has like the first 150 issues of Nintendo Power at their disposal. GamePro stuff. The CDs that came with GamePro magazine, all available. I'm just reading through this. It's just a lot of goodness.
Yep.
Testimonials. Our pal Norm was quoted.
Oh, yeah, I saw the testimony. Yeah, he's the first one.
Hey, I know some of these people. I know Chris Kohler. So I'm looking at some of these... H-Bomber guy, this is the coolest thing ever. Okay, it is... I could have given that quote. I don't have the cachet of H-Bomber guy, but I could have given that quote. That's funny. And then people ask, can people use your items in their books, blog posts, videos, etc.? For some special collections and development materials, we may have permission from the donor to let people reproduce materials for research purposes. We've included notes in each collection that describe what people can and can do. Okay,
that's really handy and going pretty. That's pretty far.
All right, people out there, please abide by fair use. So don't just a book of reprinting every fucking thing from someone's collection. That's not fair use. Let's use your common sense here. Don't just be like, hey, here's all the Acclaim drawings from 91. That's not fair use. Come on, don't be an asshole. People are donating this stuff, for informative purposes and to educate. Go, fair use it. Can you play games as archive? No, for now. So there you go. So check it out. What else is going on here? Yeah, Fantastic Four trailer. I'm cautiously optimistic still about the Fantastic Four. This is the last shot Frank probably has of seeing the franchise done well in a movie form. That's my thoughts without getting too much into it, but I think it looks good so far. But I'm cautiously optimistic.
I am finding myself further, and it's getting harder and harder for me to get excited for any of the Marvel stuff. I hope I can turn that attitude around by the time X-Men come in, but I want to see how they do it. I think just watching the Fantastic Four trailer, I think it looks good, and I like some of the cast. I like the look they kind of took with it. It's a little different.
Early 60s comic, yeah.
But I'm not 100%. I just, like I said,
you haven't 100% bought in.
I'm not 100% bought in, and part of that may just be superhero burnout for me, but it didn't sell me 100%.
It didn't either.
Okay.
The cast has to sell me.
Which is weird because we talked about it last time, but the Superman movie, I was like, I will watch this. I will go see this.
What's interesting is that the Superman, maybe because I'm not as close to those characters, I'm like, okay, I'm bought into this world. And Fantastic Four, I guess I'm more protective of.
Yeah.
where I'm like, you have to do it right once in my lifetime. Once.
Sure.
When the Roger Corman version is the most accurate one versus the other two, and I'm not even joking, it is in terms of overall.
Oh, yeah.
Like, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I will say this. I hope this isn't just like the Sue Storm is a very important character for a lot of reasons. I hope they let her be, based on the trailer or not, start her as meek and sort of scared so she can grow into being the powerful force. That's like,
right.
From looking at things she's saying in the trailer, they might have skipped over that. And if they do that, I think that's not good for the character.
Well, yeah, you're going to ruin some of what makes her.
Because that's basically what Wanda's whole arc has been, was what Sue Storm happened in the comics in the 60s. So like, hey, that's why she's invisible, because she didn't want to be seen. That's part of her personality. And then you realize, like throughout time, she builds and becomes like one of the most powerful heroes, but she doesn't start that way. And I hope they don't just say, we need a girl power thing for this movie. It was like, dude, it makes more sense. You build up to that over time. You build up to, Ripley being strong. You have to do these steps. Like I brought up Ripley because you love that. Like you have to build it up. It's you don't get as much out of it as she's super cool and powerful. It's like, come on, that's too cheap. That's my reservations with it. Thing looks great. CG.
Surprisingly, I was really worried about how that was going to come out, because sometimes Marvel movies are bad with the CG.
No, the effects looks good for this.
Yeah,
I think
that's more what I meant when I said I liked the look. It's like, I didn't mind the look, and I really liked the costume design.
Yes,
the suit design looked
perfect.
Awesome. But the CG looked cleaner.
Yes, like the effect of the Invisible Woman with how it was distorting the visibility, like you see the refraction of light. That was really cool.
Yeah, the CG of the thing could go horribly wrong, but I liked what I saw. I
liked the accent on the thing. It wasn't as heavy as I thought it'd be. Some people were like, it should be gruff. It's like, well, no, he's still a human on the inside, technically. It's almost like the Rock's just like an exoskeleton sort of thing.
Yeah, you can shed some of that and lose some of the comic bookiness, and not lose anything.
I have to go back to the comics. I don't know if his voice is supposed to be gruff in the comics. I thought it was just the same voice.
Well, I think it is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's a necessary aspect of the character.
I don't know, because
maybe the rockiness. Honestly, I don't know much about the fact that maybe the rockiness. Maybe his vocal cords.
It's not though. I'm saying people actually started posting, "Hey, Marvel put out like, hey, well, how does the thing work?" It's literally like an exoskeleton on top of his regular. So otherwise you can't have a rock heart and organs. Yeah, he doesn't have to. I'm trying to picture the comic ever bringing it up. I don't remember. I go back and look at the original comics. I don't know if they ever brought that up. Anyway, that's another thing. The thing has so much depth to it that you can really play it out over multiple films.
Yep. Anyway,
PlayStation veteran reveals Sony's first ever game was a space shooter for Nintendo. This comes from Video Game Chronicle. It shows the excitement when I put this down. This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com. The first Nintendo PlayStation game was
real quick. Shuhei Yoshida, who's no longer at Sony, but was talking to someone, and this is on Video Games Chronicle, posted by Andy Robinson, that when he started, the first day he started working for Sony, they sat him down to play an actual game on the Nintendo PlayStation. And he said it was a shooter and it was almost complete. And the way he describes it makes it sound like Sylphied. He actually says Sylphied. He compares it to Sylphied. I was wondering if it might have been a port of it. He doesn't say who the developer is or really anything else about it. And then it just jumps in and gives a little bit of history on the Nintendo PlayStation and the one that was found.
Have I played Sylphied? I must have played Sylphied once.
It's on Sega CD, but it started all the way back on like the PC 88 in Japan.
Let me look at
It's an old game. It's awesome. The CD version and the old version are similar but different.
So it's like
it's a
angled shooter, space shooter.
It's a horizontal shooter at a slight angle.
Oh, it's vertical.
And vertical. And you can switch.
I must have played this.
You can switch the weapons on your wings.
This seems like this was a shareware one that I owned. It seems like
there was a DOS version.
Yeah, I think I had a shareware.
Sierra published it, or Dynamics. No, Sierra published it when they did their when they were publishing those Japanese games for a while. So Sarian. Sylphied was another one. There's a couple others. Oh, Thexter.
It's interesting. There's like little polygonal graphics kind of on this.
It is. It's early polygon.
So there you go. That would have been on Nintendo PlayStation. That's, I mean, what else was I going to say about it?
Big news, everyone! Acclaim's returning, and Jeff Jarrett's going to be an advisor. Look, all I want to say about this is it's fucked. Like, stop doing this. Like, this is the headline. I'm sorry. Iconic game publisher Acclaim has been resurrected with wrestler Jeff Jarrett as advisor. This isn't news. One, Acclaim was iconic for being a fucking shit show of a publisher. Like, they mostly put out really garbage shit. Like, mostly garbage. Some of the stuff they released was okay for the time. I mean, without Acclaim, we wouldn't have had NBA Jam on consoles.
Well, that's a rough port on Super Nintendo Genesis, but we like Maximum Carnage.
Sure. So anyways, this is just another in a long line of transfers of
zombie IPs.
Yeah, just IPs. People buying up IPs.
Zombie IPs. Like, I could have done this if I got at it. Like, this isn't like when you say resurrected. It's not like this goes back to the whole I don't want to bring up in television, but it does. It goes back to
Atari even.
Hey, we have the name of this, and we're just going to slap it on anything that's still. There's obviously within television, Tommy tried to claim, hey, people worked at it. There was no line of continuance between the Intellivision from the 80s, and it's the same thing. There's no like, hey, we're going to call up the people that worked in these games and turn back on the machine that makes us Acclaim video games. Like, that's not how things work.
Yeah, we're not resurrecting a damn thing.
I'm sorry to burst the bubbles. I'm sorry to burst your IP bubbles out there, but they're trying to slap the name onto probably indie games and be like, hey, it's from Acclaim, but the people bottling the games nowadays don't. I'm trying to think how this will work, because you can't just slap the Acclaim Entertainment logo on random indie games and say it means anything.
Well, I mean, you can't slap it on anything and say it means anything, because it doesn't. And it reminds me of these things fail more than they succeed, and they oftentimes take many, many attempts. Atari, the fucking ghost of Atari, the skeleton of Atari, had to be sold like 4 times before it got to the point that it's at today, where it's kind of doing stuff.
Yeah, and at least there's some line of succession that's happened with that, but it's still not Atari that it was in the 80s.
So this doesn't mean anything. I mean, oftentimes when people buy these things, they'll put out some T-shirts with the logo on it because now they can capitalize on it, and then they'll say they're going to do something, but nothing. This is not exciting. This is not news. I've already spent too much time on it. Yeah, stop caring. It's
just been an LLC has owned the Acclaim trademark and intellectual property, which is just the trademark, since 2015. It hasn't been a real company since 2010. That was the last time it was an actual company that did stuff. Looking at it, yeah, there you go.
You know what? It's not a skeleton company. It's not a shell.
What's not defunct?
What's not defunct? UltimateNintendo.com, Pat.
Why?
Take it away.
I don't know. I'm so out of it today. Because you can buy N64 and Super Nintendo guidebooks. Those Super Nintendo guidebooks are going to be out of stock this year.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm down to I'm not just saying this so you go out and run and buy them, but because I get asked every other day when's the NES book going to be done again. There's less than 300 or so Super Nintendo books in stock, so they're going to be gone after this year. But you can get those. You can get RBI baseball stickers. You can get Pat and Ian cute faces on an enamel pin format, and stickers, other goodies and ditties. You can see a product page that I created for my Christmas video that Ian didn't see, with all stuff that's sitting over there still at ultimatenintendo.com. I think that's hidden though, but I literally created. I think I told you I created listings for all the stuff that was in that video.
Oh,
they wasn't actually for sale, but I had real listings.
Created them, yeah.
And people were like, "Are these all sold out?" Because they say they're sold out. Well, because I didn't actually put them live, but I probably could have sold some of that crap, like the Zinger joysticks, if I put a good price on them, or the Donkey Kong puppet that I forgot I had the puppet version of the early '80s one. Fun stuff, but that stuff's not at UltimateNintendo.com for sale. But you can get the other books and crap. And then every Wednesday I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/CountryCode. And then Ian spins the best tunes every Thursday.
Tunes! I DJ house music every Thursday, roughly from 4 p.m. PST until I'm done, which is anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours.
Or the Detroit tip off, then you get.
Oh no, I oftentimes will just throw the Detroit game on a second screen while I'm spinning.
Oh, okay, there you go. You listen to one ear's the tunes, the other ear's the play-by-play.
I'm getting good at multitasking. The Pistons game on one screen. Hey. DJing here and managing my my stream, my chat.
There you go, Ian. You live in the dream finally.
Big news from me. If you remember, a few years ago, I myself and my friends, we run a Game Boy of the Month club sort of thing, art collective called Yokoi Kids, and we put out a print version of 24 games. We talked about it on here, articles, comics, etc. You guys sold it out in pre-order. Thank you. And it was for charity. We're doing another one. Volume 2 took us about 2 years off and on of work because life kept happening to us, and it was a lot of good life that was happening to us. But we finally have it out, ready to print. It's going to be for charity again. It's for Out Youth. It's an LGBTQ youth center in Austin, Texas. They suffered some damage to their youth center, and we want to help them out with that. It is $15. It is 110 pages, which is 40 more than our last one.
I'm looking at some of the pages. There's a Snoopy cartoon?
People draw whatever they want to draw.
Oh, okay.
Because we covered Snoopy.
So okay.
Someone drew we covered the Snoopy games.
Do you want explain like you go over Game Boy games?
Yep. I'm going to get there. So $15, 110 pages, covers 25 games. There's articles, there's comics, there's a couple pictorials on how to do skateboard tricks. I did not want to write a review for Double Dragon on the Game Boy because fuck Double Dragon. So as I was writing it, I wrote a journaling RPG. So the review is the entry is play it yourself with dice rolls. There's fan fiction. Rick.
It's a celebration of Game Boy. I want to say Game Boy culture because that doesn't exist, but Game Boy games and weirdness surrounding it.
Yeah. So
Game Boy culture.
Great artists, fun writing, cartoons.
110 pages.
110 pages. All the profits go to Out Youth in Austin, Texas, and I will ask Pat nicely to put the pre-order link right here.
What is the link? You gotta say it for audio audience. How do you pre-order it, Ian?
It's me, rickv.storeenvy.com.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I feel like registering yoikoikids.com and just redirecting it for you on GoDaddy.
It's just his store.
I'm saying you need an easy URL.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try to get that down there. But for the audio audience, it's me, Merrick.
It's me.
It's me, Rick V. .storeenvy.com. It's me, Rick V. .storeenvy.com. There it is.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay, I got to write copy for you in the future for that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty good at it, but I just kind of went into this.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It was really rough.
It was not the best.
What's not rough is probably one of the standout games, speaking of the television Amico, that we said this is one of the few games that looks interesting at the time, along with like the Night Stalker remake that still hopefully will come out, is Breakout Beyond.
Yep. Breakout Beyond.
It's coming out!
So Breakout Beyond was interesting when we saw it, because unlike anything else we had seen for the Amico thus far, there was a cohesive style and theme to it. I don't mean this in a negative way, but it was kind of a basic theme. It was, kind of that neon soaked like theme, but it looked good. It looked more professional than anything we had seen yet, and it had a side view with progression, and it looked to me it looked interesting.
And the sound design is worked into the gameplay.
Yes,
with the booms and it's almost like you're creating a song almost as you go. And it's interesting.
And this is because it's made by Choice Provisions, and Choice Provisions
and Atari's publishing, by the way.
Choice Provisions is a developer best known for the Bit Trip games, and their most popular one would be Bit Trip Runner, of which I think there's 3 of them. And those, again, are also games. They're kind of like platformer games, but you make music as you go through the levels.
So same sort of design for this. I think it looks interesting. I would prefer if it was vertical, but I understand you want the widescreen. Well, I always just liked it. What?
You could tape this. This would be this like a vertical shooter. This would be something that you could.
Okay, I just wish there was an option. I hope there's an option.
Oh, I bet you there is. I bet you could probably just play it on your vertical monitor. Is going to be my.
Well, I was saying, but I was saying is I hope there's just an option. I can just flip it, and obviously it would be black bars and left and right to get the vertical. That's all I'm saying. Just help me out here. I like a good breakout game.
So it's funny because when this was announced, there was a little bit of buzz in the remaining Amico community trying to figure out like when they were going to get their version, and the answer was, we can still do a breakout game, but we can't do this one.
Oh, you saying that they said that like on a Discord or a Facebook group?
Yep, he said that we still have the rights to do a breakout game, but Breakout Beyond will not be coming to the Amico.
Yes, your version would be how it looked in 80 or 79. That's the version you're getting.
Or click and play.
She's got to be kidding me. Again, so this is one of the few games we thought looked interesting, along with the Cloudy Mountain and the Night Stalker. And hopefully all three of them will hopefully still come out.
All we can say is visually they looked interesting. Can't say much about gameplay. They were splash reels. But I know that I like Breakout enough, and I built a spinner controller at home. So I will have fun with that.
When is this coming out again? Is there a date on
March
this?
25th.
March 25th. Is there a price on it?
No, probably. I'm going to guess like $20.
Probably, between 10 and 20, somewhere in there. There you go. And it makes sense because it's Atari.
Atari usually prices their releases like this at about 20.
Well, for this, I wouldn't mind. It looks very polished.
Yeah.
It looks nice. It has Switch on there, the PlayStations and such. There you go. Speaking of international relations, which, by the way, if you want to hear us talk about the booing of the national anthem on the Elimination Chamber WWE because it was in Toronto, Canada, we discussed that at patreon.com/CU podcast. You can listen to our exclusive 20 minutes talking about international relations and in Canada and U.S. stuff going on. So check that out. I put it organically in there.
Yeah, that's good.
So the GameStop dude, Ryan Cohen, he had a nice little tweet after it was announced that GameStop's trying to exit Canada and France. They're trying to find buyers basically for those two places where, there's, I guess, a better goodwill in those countries versus this country for, I think at this point, for the actual operations, but I don't know much about Canadian GameStop. All I know is Canada still has Toys R Us, and that bothers me that we don't have it.
Japan does too.
Why can't we have some Toys R Us here and there? You vulture capitalists.
In Japan, the Babies R Us part seems to be very popular. What I saw, I think Toys R Us and Babies R Us was always combined in Japan.
So this is from Gizmodo. GameStop CEO scapegoats DEI for company troubles. But the press release said, as part of an evaluation of its international assets, they intend to pursue a sale of its operations in France and Canada. I don't know who would buy this. Who would want to buy out a slowly dying retail chain? I don't understand why that would be a thing, unless in those countries it's digital gaming hasn't caught on as much yet, but in Canada and in France. But I don't understand.
I honestly feel like if it's really caught on anywhere, Canada would make sense, because as you get further north, then the weather gets worse.
After 25 miles, you can't live in the country anymore.
It's probably easier to either, they're either shipping their games if internet's bad, or they're, I feel like either ordering games from Amazon or something, or digital distribution, would probably be a big thing up there. I don't know. So
this is what GameStop CEO, remember Mr. Cohen, with all the meme stock, I want to say goodwill money that created during the pandemic. The only thing they did with it was blow hundreds of millions on an awful NFT marketplace. That's all they fucking did, or try to do with that money. Yeah, that's all they did with it. Nothing else. Don't do your own digital storefront. And people say, well, that can be difficult. At least you're trying to do something that's related to games by be a publisher. Publish some games digitally.
Well, it makes sense because
fund some games to make money. To me, you're a game company.
It makes some sense level. Because they didn't get the money from being a games company. No, so why spend the money on being a games company? You didn't
make the money from selling the games. So maybe now you can fund games to make money from.
It kind of almost makes sense that the market that kind of got them to where they were, I feel like bleeds over into the market that would want an NFT marketplace. So I feel like it's almost pandering to who made them the money.
But the point is they wasted money on all that shit that we knew was they had their wallet failed, their NFT wallet, all that shit. So on Twitter, This is really good thing to do. On Twitter, Ryan said, email M&A@GameStop.com if you're interested in buying GameStop Canada or Micromania France. That's right, still Micromania there. I don't understand, like, first of all, that's not necessarily, like, oh, I'm going to find it by accident on Twitter and make you an offer for GameStop in Canada. Then he said, high taxes, liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI included at no additional cost if you buy today. So I don't know if he's not necessarily blaming it, but I guess he's just saying that's not why GameStop's not doing well retail wise anywhere, by the way. You can't just say that's why. That's almost like just, hey, I don't know how to turn it around, so I'm just going to throw these buzzwords out. Like, that's just, what are you doing, buddy?
My soup tastes bad because you stubbed your toe. I mean, shit that has
nothing to do with
non sequitur.
I don't think you can blame DEI for the rise of digital gaming the past 15 years and the fact that people are just now buying less physically. Like, I don't know if that's a DEI initiative that happened I wasn't aware of, but we're being silly. We're just being silly now. Be a serious person, Ryan. Be a serious person. You're a CEO of a company, for God's sake. Be serious. Let's see in this article. GameStop's revenue peaked back in 2011. Yes. Like I said, about 15 years ago is when this started happening, when it brought in $9.55 billion in sales. And then it was only $4.33 billion in 24. And that was down 24% from 23. Oh, wow. So now it's like, now we're off the cliff again. Like, this is happening before the pandemic, where it was like, hey, we got to close another 100 stores this year, another 200 this quarter. And the pandemic obviously hastened a little bit of it, but they had such an infusion of meme stock cash that they could pay off debts and stick around. That's what it did. It just prolonged the same experience that we're going through now. It just prolonged what the inevitable that's happening. Inevitable. So there you go. There you go. I didn't know that back in 22, Cohen, through his personal investment firm, purchased a 9.8% stake in Bed Bath & Beyond and pushed for changes at that retailer. The company went bankrupt a year later. Oh, I didn't know that. I used to like Bed Bath & Beyond.
I did too. They had an exceptional candy section.
I didn't know that. They used to always compete. What was their, like, the competitor that was the same thing? That went out of business. That went out of business like 15 years ago before. You know what I'm talking about? There was one that was the same exact thing where you can find a bunch of sewing machines and quilts and knives and knife sets. And you know what I'm talking about? There was one. Linen and Things. Yes, that's it. Yes. It was the same store.
I'm like sheets and stuff.
Yeah, I said quilts. So it was in my head. I said quilts. Yeah, Linen and Things used to run the same sales, and you can use coupons back and forth. I noticed in my mid-20s, my garden apartments, I would look for, like, hey, I need a blender. Oh, it's like buy something, get it free at Linen and Things. But then Bed Bath & Beyond had a sale. They were like direct competitors. It was like Office Max and Office Depot. Both don't need to exist. We only need one of these stores. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they were.
Speaking of which, Joann's Fabrics is officially going out of business.
That pisses me off.
Me too.
We need a Joann
one of my favorite stores in the world.
We should have. What's the other? Is that sort of like Hobby Lobby a little bit?
No, it's more like Michael's, which I don't like.
But you think
they're pretty much like Michael's and Joann's are. I liked Joann's a lot more, but they're basically the same thing. Your yarns, your craft supplies, your silk flowers, your holiday decorations, your wreaths, that sort of shit. Fabric.
Yes, that's in the name. But my sister used to work there back like in her 20s. She
really?
Joann Fabrics. So that was like her. Yeah.
What a job.
You would think we can support in America one fabric chain. Like we can't even do one toy store, I guess, so we can't do one fabric chain.
That's another case of venture capital. It was bought and gutted.
They gutted it for parts.
Yep. And that's it. It's done. And it sucks. And that was my comfort store. I would go there like once a week to walk around, buy another ball of yarn I didn't fucking need.
Well, we have a clearance sale of our local one. You probably go check it out. When is it going out for sale?
I actually don't know. I know it was already on sale at least a week or two ago. I don't know.
Well, it was on sale, so they haven't declared Chapter 7 yet. The bad.
No, they did.
Chapter 7. That's the liquidation. Not Chapter 11.
They're done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they're gonna have a clearance sale. That's where I got a lot of my Christmas decorations. Joann Fabric. That little sale. Yeah. That makes me sad. I like how people are in there.
Everyone's nice in there. That's what I talked about. Everyone was nice.
Nice 58-year-old women that work there.
It smells nice in there.
Yes.
It always smelled faintly of cinnamon pine cones. Even in the summer.
You know what? I feel like I should have got a part-time job at just for stress reasons, I feel better. No one's going to come in stressed out buying fabric and yarn, will they?
One of the things I've noticed is everyone's pretty pleasant there customer wise, but there are a lot of elderly people who make a lot of exchanges. And I feel like that would be the trying part of the day.
Like gaming the system.
But other than that, I never saw any of them lose their cool.
Hey, I have some fabric spools from 1989 I haven't used yet. Can I get a credit? Now I can picture that happening. Yeah, they're bringing a dusty box. So, hey, it's unused. Yeah, it's unused. It's 37 years old, this stuff. We can't give you a credit. Geraldine. We can't.
Flo.
Geraldine? That's not a bad name for a woman.
It's not.
Geraldine Ferraro is the only thing I thought out of. Anyway, Carl Jobs. Our pal. Well, my pal. I don't know if he's his pal, but he likes you. Put out a video recently due to you're gonna hear this name a lot the next years. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
After he was outed admitting that he wasn't this big Diablo 4 player and that he was paying people to play and stream his character in Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2, which any sane person will just pay someone money to play a game for them and take credit for it. Any sane person will do that, by the way.
That's like a person, and we've always talked about how this is like the worst kind of person. The person who cheats at board games. We did not plan that, but that is...
If you cheat a board game out there...
You're scum.
Not only, these are the two things I'm going to do. The two things I'm going to do if I become a billionaire. I always said the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kill off all the poachers that exist in the world. I'm just going to hire mercenaries to kill them all. I'm going to make the price way more to kill a poacher than it is to sell the poached animals. That's what Pat would do as a billionaire. That's what Country Man Diaz would do. The other thing, though, I think I'd do, I would create a commission of private investigators to search out every board game cheater in the world. I don't care if you cheated when you were 7. You're still a scumbag. That doesn't leave you.
No, not until you pay some sort of actual penance, like getting on national television and apologizing.
Yes.
Because what did you get for that?
You took a free hotel when you were 8 or 9. That never leaves you. You're going to be cheating everyone else at life.
You flipped an extra disc in Othello, completely changing the board.
Has it happened to you?
No.
Okay.
But if it did, I'd be very, very fucking cross.
Almost as bad as Kevin cheating. Look at my controller, Tecmo Bowl. So that's another one that's on the list. He probably cheated at board games too. I think he did actually. What was I going with this? Anyway, that's Elon Musk, by the way. That's the sort of person we're talking about.
Carl Jobs' video.
So insecure, and you always have to win and be looked at as the winner, that you pay someone to play a fucking video game for you, and you're in your 50s, by the way, when you're doing this. So anyway, this interested Carl. Carl's that person that he gets intrigued by little nuggets of things. Like, I want to see the larger story.
Something gets stuck in his head, and he just wants to expand it.
Well, that's interesting that you kind of lied about being a pro gamer. What about the claims that you were a great Quake player in the 90s?
Right.
So Carl put out a video that is actually very informative about the 90s competitive Quake gaming scene.
So I didn't get a chance to watch it in as much depth as I would like, because I only found out 2 nights ago. But what it was interesting was that there's actually a lot of non-Musk information that's interesting.
Oh, its majority is non-Musk stuff.
Yeah, learning about the early history of competitive Quake is interesting.
Yes, and debunking things that I was a great Quake player. Well, let's talk to someone that played you at Quake that we interviewed that said, no, he wasn't that good. Honestly, and saying, oh, I won this tournament, and then finding out, well, that tournament wasn't really entered by anyone of note that you won or got prize money for. And it wasn't as much prize money as you claimed. It wasn't thousands of dollars. It might have been hundreds that your team. So basically everything is a lie. What a shocker. What a shocker that these grandiose narcissists will lie about past accomplishments. Another recurring theme on the podcast throughout the years of people that try to run these things and claim that their past is so much grandiose. I'm not calling Musk Tallarico, but they live in the same community. Those sort of people.
Oh, I'd call them roughly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's a 41-minute video. It looks like it's how he starts his comment. Elon Musk was not good at Quake. That's all he says. And then his sponsorship, Play War Thunder. And so there you go. So whatever it takes to get.
I think the fun about this video is that his reach is big enough, and we know that Musk is so eternally online that there's no way that Musk is not going to see this and seethe over it.
Yes, And then the comments are great. He's going to remove your blue check mark for this one. This is the problem. It took Elon 10 seconds to say the lie multiple times, but Carl hours to debunk as thoroughly as he has done. So yes, it's so easy to lie and spread massive lies. So imagine if a person's going to lie about video game accomplishments. This is what Carl posits at the end. What else will they be lying about? The answer is every fucking thing. Every past accomplishment, everything you take credit for. I'm the type of person that firmly believes that people that lie or steal little things
are doing it with much more.
Yes. You don't, your behavior doesn't automatically change when it goes from little to large. Your behavior is your behavior. If someone is willing to lie about little things to my face, that means they can lie about a lot of other things to my face. It's not usual where someone will just say, "Oh yeah, they lied about giving the $20 laying on the table," but they won't lie about stealing 1,000. Like, no, if you're going to do one, you're going to do the other. So there you go. Check out the video there, and then hopefully the judge still has to weigh in on the Billy Mitchell lawsuit against Carl, and hopefully that goes well. Hopefully we hear news by the next Super Show.